I have been asked to do this for so long and I didn't want to because I'm easily spooked. And after doing Vlad the Impaler, which was, I really enjoyed Vlad the Impaler reading. He made a lot of sense. I was asked to do Countess Elizabeth Bathory. Okay, so I've got my Wikipedia out now to get the basic information so I can give you the dates. So you have to excuse me. Okay, born 7th of August 1560. Okay, and obviously you know it's pretty much the female version of Dracula, as they would say. And she used to bathe in the blood of her servants. And according to reports, she's accused of torturing, killing hundreds of girls and women who were servants to her. So what I will do is I will do two parts in this. So the people that really know her story can ask me questions and I can do those for you in a second part. But I just wanted to, I didn't want to look into all the history right now. I just wanted to read. I just wanted to read because it's around the energy. So I just want to do it, okay? Now, we will cover her husband as well because she was married. And apologies, like I said, I haven't researched it. I don't know the pronunciation, okay? Count Ferenc Nedasati. Oh, my God. Apologies. I apologise. I don't like to research it too deeply. I just like to see what's coming through. But first of all, let's just have a quick look at her personality. Oh, what? I do feel she was more of a Queen of Swords personality, which means, oh, no. Straight away, the words that are coming through, you know, cruel, ooh, I'm hearing cruel, cold, calculated were the opinions of her. But she's saying they just didn't like a woman in charge, a woman in power. But she did take it too far. I am going to say that. She did take it too far. A woman in power, a woman in power, a woman in... Oh, I just heard if she was born a man, it would be more like Vlad the Impaler, as in they would be seen as completely different to what she's being seen as because she's a woman, which I don't get why that would come through, because if it is true about the torturing hundreds of servants, male or female, you're a mass murderer. It didn't start off like that, I'm hearing. It didn't start off like that. It didn't start off like that. Let's just do some cards, guys. Let's see what's trying to come out here. What was her personality truly like? What was her personality truly like? Oh, it's hard to take a deep breath. Stifled. Oh, do you know what? I haven't pulled cards properly yet, but I'm almost feeling it's hard to breathe, feeling stifled. And then it's almost like she got the power she wanted because she wasn't born a male. She got the power she wanted over her servants. So the way she would treat her servants is almost what made her feel that she was empowered and in control. And nobody would bat an eyelid in her family if she did treat them terribly, because they treated them like crap. Even her parents going back, they would treat the servants like crap anyway. They were literally seen as nothing compared to them. So she was brought up around this, but I feel she took it to the extreme. Now, I'm just going to say this before I pull any cards. I'm getting images of somebody as a child that would, I don't know if she actually had this, given a kitten. It's like, you know, the white Persian kittens, but would be cruel. So almost like playing with it, but being cruel as well, and liking the power she had over that from quite a young age, because she wasn't an heir. I'm hearing she wasn't an heir, she wasn't a male. I need to look into this and find out if she's got any siblings. I apologise, by the way, for her as well. I'm not even looking into this properly right now. She was not born a male. She was not an heir in that sense. She got her power. She got her kicks, I'm hearing. So, oh, God, guys, this reading is going to be dark, I think. She got her kicks from, to begin with, I do feel animals, okay? I wouldn't go as far as saying animal torture. Sorry to mention that. But more about cruelty to animals in a way, to get her power. And then I do feel it led to a friendship group that she had. They would pick on one and she would be the ringleader and she would take it too far. She would take it too far. It's almost like she was born into this, okay? And the way she treated people, she was born into it. It was even expected of her. I do even feel like her parents reprimand her for not speaking to servants correctly. And when I mean correctly, I don't mean nicely. I mean of not pulling them up over poor work done and really kicking off at them. Literally, she'd be pulled up for it. So she learned to behave this way, but I believe it was in her as well. So her personality. Oh, marriage did not make her. Marriage did not make her. So even though she married accounts, I'm hearing political arrangement here, aristocracy, it didn't make her. She didn't need him to make her or give her a voice. She already had it. She is strong. She is a strong person. Wow, 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 wow. I'm reading now Wikipedia, guys. She managed business affairs and the family's multiple estates during the war as well, when he was away, which makes sense. Looking at the cards now, actually, that does make sense. Because look, we have the marriage card, which is her marriage, and then we have her. This is almost like putting in all the hard work to receive payment. Look, keeping an eye on everything here. Very in control, highly intuitive. She could read somebody that walked in the room in an instant and know what they want from her. She was very good at reading people. I feel it's almost like a woman of few words, and her eyes are very cold, like she could read you just by looking at you. She wouldn't even need to speak as such. We got the wealth. Now, this is interesting. Now, anyone that knows her story, I do have another male around her. With this Three of Cups, it's another male. Now, this makes sense because the King of Cups is more of a feminine kind of energy. And compared to her, I feel it's somebody that would, I'm hearing, enticed by her. So I do feel there could have been another male around her when her husband was away fighting that was very devoted to her, that was almost in love with her, that put her on a pedestal. Because we do have a third person here in this marriage, and we have this male coming through, this energy. And I feel with this energy, because she was so strong and dominant, he would have been submissive, and he would have, oh God, this is going to get dark. I can see it now. He would carry out things for her. So, oh, this is the bit where you're like, I feel he would find certain women for her as such, to work for her, that she could just treat very poorly, let's put it like that, okay? They almost worked together. It wasn't just like an affair. I don't feel she really had love for this person, but he was infatuated with her, and he worked for her, and I feel he was aristocracy himself, and he would bring these women in, and these women were always poor. I feel he was the one, recruiter. This man here is almost like her recruiter that would recruit these women to work for her. Hearing the stories, don't believe the stories. So I believe it already swept around that people that would go and work for her would be injured or wouldn't come back, and he would dismiss the rumours. And I think she sent him out. Oh God, this is not what I thought I'd get from this reading at all. He would be the sweet talker. He would go and sweet talk these girls to work for her. I'm hearing the sweet talker because, again, the King of Cups energy, intuitive, kind energy, more feminine energy, recruiter. He recruited these people for her to work with. And I'm getting quite spooked now because I'm in Sweden on my own, right, in the house, and everyone's out right now. So there was another male, but she had no feelings at all for him. It was more he was infatuated with her. He, again, when I pull the card for him, we have the Three of Wands, which means he's completely focused, almost infatuated with her. And I keep hearing he recruited. And I feel she was left alone a lot as well, as in, it makes sense, but I'm feeling like once she was handed over for marriage, her parents are kind of out of it. And then she was, also this is interesting, she's trying to make a point, a bit like Vlad the Impaler, that she was taught to be hard to run her estate. So she would be on her own. The moment she got married, she's on her own. It's up to her to run the estate while the men have got their business and travelling, whatever, even if it's at war. So she was brought up to handle the estate and to manage it by herself, and she had to be strong. So on one end of things, that's kind of what she's trying to get across as well. I was born to be strong. I couldn't be a ruler because I was a female. I even feel she dominated her husband as well. I feel that he was meant to be commandant in the army, but I feel she completely dominated him as well. And interestingly, this King of Cups guy that was the recruiter for her, the one that was a bit more sensitive, in a way, as nuts as this sounds, I feel he would go along with what she wanted. But he had more of a softer, healing energy to him, as in, if it's even possible, the kinder side out of both of them. He was the kinder one. He was the one that could potentially bring in healing for her, because her marriage is more political, whereas this man genuinely loved her. But she didn't see it like that. There was just I'm hearing cold heart, like a stone wall up between them. She wouldn't allow any love in. She wouldn't allow any love in. I do feel a lot of this would be personality, if I'm honest. I don't feel it's just because it's like a rough childhood or anything. I feel she was being brought up to be seen as the ruler, to rule hard, okay? And it's gone too far at times, for sure. Now, I wouldn't say, let's say about the servants, the victims, if they were victims, okay? Were there victims? I mean, they were saying there was hundreds and hundreds. Was it true there were victims? Was it true there were victims? I'm hearing her displeasure. So I feel she would punish them severely if she didn't like their work or what they were doing, but it would be severely, severely punished. And again, it's going back then at that time. She wouldn't get called out on it because of who she was. It's almost like they would treat them like crap and it was expected. It was just one of those things. It was just one of those things. It was just the way it was done back then and the way she was taught to do it. But because she had this thing in her, this power trip, I feel she definitely took it too far, for sure. Oh, yeah. Taking it too far. We have the Nine of Cups again, which is a card about being very pleased about yourself and who you are and what you do, and a very narcissistic kind of energy with this coming through. The balance being off, and I feel this is almost like mentally. Mood, I don't know why I just heard shapeshifter. That makes no sense while it's just come in. The moods would be extremely up and down and unbalanced. I feel she was extremely argumentative. You wouldn't know what you're going to get from her. With the Five of Swords coming in as argumentative. I do feel other people have stood in and said other people are going to talk about the way you're punishing them and what you're doing. And I feel some of them would go to the dungeons, the servants, and I do feel there was torture, okay? For stealing. This is grim. I'm not going to go too much into it tonight. I'm feeling some of them would lose fingers, even if they weren't stealing. And I'm not going to go too much into this because it is weirding me out. I feel some things of hers could be found in servants' rooms and it was placed there on purpose so she could punish them, okay? Power control. Sorry guys, I've just come into this tonight and I've just rushed straight into it and I had no idea where it was going to lead. Completely overloaded. She's overloaded completely. She's doing it all by herself. I do feel in a way, yes, it was sadistic. I do feel she got joy from that, you know, like sadomasochism, that kind of thing. I do feel it was more, I do feel it was that sense, maybe even enjoying it sexually, is in getting a thrill from doing these kind of things, and it built up and it was a slow process. But I do feel the start of it was taught to her by her parents, and then it went on from there. It led on from there. And I feel the servants I'm hearing are almost like playthings. So it's like if you were a teenager and you had a bad day at school or whatever and you go in and you kick off at your mum and you're ah. It's almost like she's doing the same to the extreme, where if she had a bad day, she would take it out on her servants. But I feel things would end up in their rooms that weren't actually, that they hadn't done anything wrong and they were placed there so they can be told off. It was like a fun thing. So yeah, okay. You know what I did hear before I did this reading? That some people have said, scholars have said that it's not all true, you know, it's all fake and they were just saying that and none of it was real. But I do feel there's definitely truth to this and there was definitely cruelty. I really feel that with the servants. And I do feel some of them have lost fingers. I will do a part 2, guys. I will do a part 2. So the people that know her story, any particular questions, let me know. Really quickly, guys, how did she feel about her husband? I'm looking around my house. I'm spooked out. I'm looking around. How did she feel about her husband? How did she feel about him? 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 Oh, do you know what? What's that song, He Wasn't Man Enough for Me? There's a really famous song. It's actually an R&B song, which is really ironic considering I'm doing Bathory. I just said he wasn't man enough for me. She wore the trousers for sure. What was their marriage like? This is nuts. I actually feel he preferred to be away at war than be with her. The Knight of Swords usually in a reading for me means they're charging in towards you, but with this I feel he's actually charging away. We have him charging away, and this is behind it. So he's charging away from the stress and feeling completely overloaded and overburdened. I feel he actually made himself busy and got out of there as much as he could. And the Emperor again is the relationship, and he's actually charging away from it because he's completely overloaded. So from his side of things, there's not a lot of enjoyment there. He didn't feel she had a heart. How does she feel about him? Interesting. It's almost like with the Four of Pentacles, it's almost like she was possessive over him but not committed. And again, I feel this is because of who he was. He had power. So she was possessive over her status by marrying him. And then we have the love cards. Justice. How did she feel about him? Now, completely random. I'm getting another guy coming in here. This is not anything to do with this King of Cups. This is a King of Wands, which is kind of like this energy is a bit more fun, playboy, charming, witty, but he could be cruel as well. And I feel this was somebody in her court as such that was actually like a fighter. Okay, so he was a fighter, but he was extremely high up in the ranks, and he was a different personality from her husband. And I feel she was quite enticed by this person, actually, looking at this. So there's another male coming in. There's literally one or two males around her when her husband was at war. One or two males she was interested in. So it wasn't just her husband. And I do feel she would take advantage of some of the men to do her dirty work, basically. So I'm going to leave it there. I've got a million questions now. I'm going to have to look into it more, because what's interesting as well is whenever I read on anything, I start to get images through as well. And I haven't read anything yet. So I will do a part 2, but yes, there is truth to it. And I keep seeing the fingers. I keep seeing missing fingers. Remember, I've got to be careful what I put on YouTube. Obviously, you know about cults and blood rituals and stuff like that, okay? And I do wonder if she was involved in that. I feel, yes, but over time. So it didn't start like that. It was over time with specific people she met. It was just cruelty and power. It was cruelty and power. And again, guys, I don't feel she was like a normal woman that was just born and then she had a rough childhood. I feel she kind of came into this world with a bit of like a cynic, quite cruel, not easily impressed. Kind of like a Queen of Swords character again, but it's like the negative qualities here. So yeah, don't know what to say. I thought it could be like Vlad the Impaler, where Vlad made a lot of sense, to be honest, about what he was saying. But with this, I do feel a sense of control, power, diminishing people. I'm hearing the word diminishing people. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not getting any pluses right now, you know. You do need to remember, though, some people coming into this life to do abominations, as you would say, or extreme cruelty, because by doing that, it's the way of us to actually grow as people and learn from their mistakes, if that makes sense. If we didn't have these people in the world, the ones that create war, things like that, we would never really learn and we'd never really change. If everything was just good and happy, you sometimes need, I'm hearing, antagonists to come into this world to shake it up so we make changes and learn how to treat each other better. So I'm hearing she was an antagonist that came down for a particular reason, you know, to change the way things were. So, you know what, some things like this could even be she came down to change the way people treated the servants after this happens and to see them as actual people. But there's always a reason why people come in and choose a path like this, usually, in general, you know. It's different from a one-off mistake. When it's usually like this and it's very, you know, intense, it's other people that have chosen to work with her in this lifetime and to be involved with her so they can learn. You know, it's a lot deeper than you think, but we won't go into all that now. I'm off. I'm sorry about that. That was all over the place. I didn't expect all these love interests to come in, but yeah. Love you guys. Bye. I'm going to add to this because I forgot to add a really important question, which obviously, was she set up? Was she set up? Was it her that put things in servants' rooms so she can punish them, or was it other people to encourage the behaviour? I'm only saying this because after I felt there was somebody that was a male that managed, it is a bigger picture, there's something more to this. I feel there was a male that would manage the household as well and make sure things are done properly. Like her, it could be this King of Cups again. I'm even thinking it could be this King of Cups. And if he didn't get the right response from the servant himself, then he could get them into trouble by her. I'm hearing middleman here, but I haven't pulled any cards. I do wonder if this is King of Cups. You know, the one that's recruiting because they're going through a lot of servants or people leaving and he has to recruit more people for her. I do wonder, jeopardize people. I'm actually thinking there's more to this. This King of Cups character was also a middleman that helped manage the house and hire servants and things along those lines. But also, I do feel if he was rejected by any of them, if he tried to make any advances on these women and he was rejected by them, then he could get them into trouble by her. So I don't think it's 600. I don't think it's as much as they're saying. I'm not seeing bathing in blood. I feel this could be maybe even a joke. Remember Marie Antoinette let them eat cake, okay? It's almost like something that's been taken way too far and elaborated on because it made a good story, like Vlad the Impaler. I mean, how did Vlad the Impaler become Dracula rising up from the death with vampire teeth, okay? Like, how has it gone from there? Making it out to be an anti-hero. It sold the papers, I'm hearing. I'm not even pulling cards right now. It sold the papers, and I do feel someone was in the middleman. Someone was the middleman that would actually get these women into trouble. It wasn't just her. She would carry out the punishments, but it was like somebody was doing this. It was their way of getting power as well. You know what I mean? It's just messed up, guys. The whole thing's messed up. She was sadistic, as in she was cruel. I will say, like Vlad the Impaler, though, when we were like, why did you have to impale people? And he was literally said, well, you know, nowadays you might use nuclear bombs, but back then we used to chop their hand off for stealing. So the same, if anyone was caught stealing around her, I think the punishments were severe back then in Transylvania. You would lose your hand for stealing. You would lose your fingers, that kind of thing, okay? So I feel it was like a punishment. Now you go to prison. Back then you lose your fingers or your hands. It's kind of those kind of things. That was the way it was done. And again, aristocracy, they could treat servants however the hell they want because they're aristocracy. Servants are nothing to them. So let's just see. One quick question. Is it true about the bath? Is it true about bathing in blood? Is it true about bathing in blood? Is it true? Is it true about bathing in blood? Because you do know, I do know. I'm not, you know, I know about the rituals called, you know, blood bathing, things like that. And I completely believe stuff like that exists. But let's just see about her. Was it true? Quite interesting cards right now. Someone's out to get her as well. I'm not saying she wasn't sadistic or dark, guys. I do feel things were invented about her, for sure, 1,000,000%. Because of people that, it's almost, okay, what I'm getting now is because of her nature was sadistic and kind of, she could be very cruel and she wouldn't take any crap and she would see everyone as beneath her, especially a servant. They wouldn't even be on the radar as a human, some of these people, literally. They'd be like, you're nothing to me, okay? Then the rumours were easier to spread, and I think they've been elaborated for sure. You can see her as a very hard-working woman here, with this Eight of Pentacles, working incredibly hard, very proud that she managed to look after her husband's estate here. The Nine of Cups, again, feeling really proud of what she's done. She had to study and learn a lot to manage all this lands and to be a ruler in a way. She was ruling, I'm sensing she was ruling more than her husband, literally. Yeah, she had the power. She had a very strong sexual chemistry. And again, the type she's attracting, these kind of submissive, kind of more male energies. We got the marriage here. We got a very, very good with money, as in being a very good person to look after the estates while her husband's away at war. She could be trusted. She knows how it's meant to be done. And another thing is about that real strict sadistic side coming out. She's been taught that to learn how to manage it. I just said they didn't like a woman in power. She was treading on too many toes. Oh God. This is going to be a super long reading now. I feel there were other people, like aristocracy, that were very high up, that saw the power she had and they didn't like it and they didn't want their wives to feel the same. You know, I'm hearing, whoa. I'm pleased I came back to this. I'm hearing she was setting a bad example for people. She was setting a bad example for other wives, what they could attain, what they could achieve, because she had so much power, you know, by managing everything and being really good at it. I will tell you now, she was good at managing the estates when it comes to money, finances, being very prudent, learning, studying, willing to learn, all the cards here. Great with money, is in investing, that kind of thing. She would not take any crap. Other men didn't like it. Other men would not like it. And she became a threat as well. Hey, so I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I'd say it's both kind of true. Yes, she could be very cruel, sadistic. She could treat people like complete crap. I don't see it bathing in blood. I see it more... They're comparing it to Marie Antoinette, Let Them Eat Cake, which was just a one-off comment, which has been blown up completely, you know? And it's kind of the same thing along that with the blood. I'm not sensing like 600 plus people and she's bathing in their blood. I'm just not getting that. I'm feeling a very strong, cruel woman that wouldn't take any crap in power. In power. I'm not getting blood thing. And I do believe in stuff like that, okay? I do believe stuff like that happens. So I really thought that would be in this reading, but something made me come back to just double check on it, because I felt like... I just felt when I finished this reading, when I said about the servants getting in trouble because things of hers were being found in their room, that it wasn't entirely her. You know, it would be somebody doing this to get power over these women. And again, I keep going back to this bloody King of Cups. I'm off. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Bye.